This week we're going to be talking about some statistics, data, how to use that data, how to compare that data. And so it's just a little break from what we've been talking about with quadratics and factoring and equations and things like that. So we're just going to go through some definitions, and then we'll do an example or so, and then we'll talk about a few different ways to plot that data or compare that data. Okay, so we start with the mean. Remember that the mean is something we've talked about before in previous math classes. So it is the average of the values. Okay, it's the average. So mean, in order to find it, we find the sum of all the numbers and we divide it by the number of values that we have. So for example, if you had 10 numbers, you would add them all together and then divide them by 10 because that's the number of values that you have. Remember that median is the middle value, okay? And it has to be when your values are written in smallest to largest order, okay? So it's the middle value. You have to rewrite everything smallest to largest. Okay, then we go to mode. Mode is the most occurring. Okay, if there's more than one, then there would be more than one mode, but it's the one that we see that most often occurs. The lower extreme is the smallest value, and we call that the minimum. Okay, the upper extreme is the opposite of that. It's the largest value, and we call it the maximum. Okay, and then we divide things into quartiles, okay? And so the lower quartile is going to be the median, so the middle of the lower half, okay? It's the middle number of the lower half of the values, and we call it quartile with a sub 1 there, so Q sub 1. The upper quartile is the opposite of that. It's the median of the upper half of the numbers or the values, and we call it Q3, okay, Q sub 3. To find the range of something, sorry about that, I ran out of my notes there. And we find the range of something, we take the maximum and we subtract the minimum from that. Okay, so all of those should be just review, and then we finally have the interquartile range where we're going to take that Q3, that upper quartile, and we're going to subtract the lower quartile. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. I'm going to do a quick example with some numbers in another video, but just remember these are all definitions that you've seen before, things that you've discussed, probably around 7th or 8th grade. But you have seen them before. These are just ways that we compare and look at numbers, okay? So coming up next, we'll do a quick example of that, and then we will move forward.